What's going on, guys? Today we are taking a look at Transformers Age of Extinction Optimus Prime Evasion Mode. Got this from this mystical land known as Canada. Anyway, so we have the figure here in box. He is the Voyager class figure. The box is actually really nice. I really like the red and the white. Very muted, very simple. I really do appreciate that. It's not crazy, it's not bombastic. As you see, we have the trilingual packaging that we would normally get from figures abroad in Canada. Overall, I'm happy with the packaging. It's simple, yet unique. So let's open them up and take a look. So Prime out of the box is actually really cool looking. I do have a few minor quibbles with the figure though, with the way he looks, and chiefly that has to do with the fact that on the box and in the promo art he is colored differently than the figure we have here. The arms are not solid blue, they are actually the same silver and gray that the upper thighs are. And there are a few other minor little color variations. I think the blue is actually a much brighter blue than what we were led to believe, but that's not really all that important. Overall, though, the figure looks really cool. It is obviously movie Prime, but with a G1 feel to it, which I really like. I dig the look of this figure. His gun is this, well, I'm not sure what it is. It is a giant shotgun type weapon. It really reminds me of a combination between a shotgun and, well, maybe a laser rifle or something. It does shoot. Not that far, maybe a foot and a half. The spring on here, though, it does have some issues. If you put the missile in a certain way, the spring becomes hair trigger, but then if you just turn it a quarter turn, it doesn't. Very strange. Anyway, let's put that off to the side for now. Prime's head sculpt is actually kind of crazy. It's really well detailed, and I'm quite surprised. I wasn't expecting this to be the non-face-plated version. It's a very good-looking one, but it looks, well, he looks old. He looks run down and ragged. And I guess that's just kind of what they're going for with this movie, that, well, he is Evasion Prime. Based on the trailers, it looks like he's seen some better days. He does have light piping here in the back of his head. It is clear though. So whatever colored light you're going to put through the back of his head, you're going to have that coming out of his eyes. But his eyes are very, very tiny. I mean, really tiny. They're like dots right there and right there. In other figures of this size, he's had much bigger eyes. But overall, it's a good head sculpt. The figure's posability is quite good, but there is something with the arms that's a little bit weird. We'll talk about that in a minute. Head is on a swivel moving back and forth, or a hinge moving back and forth for the transformation. And it is on a ball joint, so you can have a bunch of movement there. Torso does have articulation. Legs have plenty of articulation, and the wheels here on his hips actually fold out, so you could do a karate kick, so that's good. There are double hinge on the knees. There is a swivel right underneath that, but it's very tight. A nice tight knee. His shins move as part of the transformation. His feet have forward and back movement and in and out, so that's nice. Arms, ball joint at the shoulder, swivel right above the elbow. And then this is where things get weird. Because of his transformation, he doesn't really have an elbow where you would think it would be. The elbow should be right here, where this already almost 45 degree or maybe 35 degree angle is. But there's actually articulation just below the elbow for the transformation. So you've got movement there, but the movement goes a little bit too far, in my opinion. Yeah, you kind of have to pop it past its locking point, but I think it goes a little too far. And it locks at a very unnatural angle. But, well, he's a giant robot, so he can do that kind of thing. Size-wise, Prime and Grimlock both fall in the same category as Generations Springer, as you see here. But this is still smaller than the figures we got in Dark of the Moon. And they're also smaller, significantly smaller, than the Human Alliance figures that we got in Dark of the Moon as well. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those on hand right now, as they are up in my storage bin in, well, another state. This figure's transformation is rather complex, not so much with the legs, but the torso, that's a different matter. If you've transformed any of the Masterpiece figures, it's a little bit similar, but the complexity is definitely there. The issue I have with this is the figure's transformation is complex enough that even as a fan, I did have some trouble with it, considering the directions start from vehicle into robot mode, just like Grimlock's did. An adult fan is going to be challenged, but they'll hopefully eventually be able to figure it out. There is no way a kid is going to be able to figure this out. Or I'm sorry, a young child, like a 4 or 5-year-old. If they do, props to them. Anyway, so transformation-wise, let's start. Start with the legs, pin them together, and then the feet will pin together as well. And then you can fold the feet and the shins up into themselves like so. That's all we're doing with the legs. With the torso, fold the torso down, pointing towards the feet, and then we're going to first take the arms, and I just like to put them out and back, come in here into the chest, and open it up like that, and just leave the chest piece or chest pieces open. Then we're going to reach into the front, or where the shoulders are, and fold this whole section back behind the head, and fold it out and in front of what will be the front of the vehicle mode. Then the little smokestack section will fold up into the section that is going to form the front of the vehicle mode. Unfortunately, this part doesn't lock into place, and I wish it did, or at least it doesn't on mine. Next up, we are going to take the chest of the robot mode, pop the chest off from where it's sitting, and then flip the head all the way around like that. And then fold this piece down, and it will form the front center part of the vehicle mode. Now this is where things get weird. So, first up we're going to do is reach behind the arms and just kind of fold them back and flip out these little silver bits that will form the front of the vehicle mode. Then take the arms and put them right up against the sides and fold them so they're pointing straight forward like this. So remember, this is the front of the vehicle mode, or this is the front of the robot mode, and this is the back of the robot mode now. And then we'll bend them down. And then these sections that form the shoulders or outside will flip around, kind of flip up. Or these sections will flip around, and then you just kind of have to work at it until you can get these sections flipped around like this. And then they will actually peg into this little peg behind the wheel. And it's not easy. It just isn't. And some folks are going to be able to do it much more elegantly than I can, but it's not exactly a transformation that I would consider fun at all. So I was able to get the one arm folded up in, and the way I did that was to take the head and untransform it, or transform it back to robot mode, and leave it kind of out of the way for right now. Then take the other side, and as you're flipping it around, push the arm up and out of the way, and then just kind of force it or flip it around and force it into place. Not elegant at all, and honestly not that easy either. It's just a pain. Then we can flip the head around and peg everything into place there. Fold the front of the vehicle mode in. Flip the stacks for the robot mode down, and they will slide underneath these gray pieces of plastic. And right where my finger is, tip of my finger, it's going to slide under that. And you just kind of have to push it down as you're folding it up and get it in. And then you slide it into place. And this is not an easy transformation. And I still haven't quite mastered it yet, as is painfully obvious. So, okay, there we go. Got that in. You just kind of have to slide everything out of the way, and then fold that down, snap it into place, then reach around to the back and fold out a smokestack. And here we go! I'm not gonna lie, this is a really solidly awesome alt mode. It's very small though. I mean, this is a deluxe class figure sized alt mode. He compacts really well. It's nice. I like it a lot. Very G1-esque. Just, it's overall really good. And a lot of fun. Pain in the butt to get to this mode, but the mode itself, it's solid. Now, there are a few little gimmicks you have here, or I should say one gimmick, and that's putting a gun or any gun right at the top of his cab. It looks silly, but it works. There is, however, a little indentation here and an opening here. It looks like he might be able to hold a trailer at some point. I don't know if the Japanese version of this figure is going to get a trailer, but I know there is a Optimus Prime figure in Japan that's getting a trailer. Overall, Evasion Mode Prime is pretty darn cool. I mean, it's definitely better than I was expecting. I really did not expect this figure to be all that great. And instead, what we've got is a really well-engineered figure, a good-looking figure, and just a solid Transformers toy. It's complex enough to make fans happy, and it's got enough play value to make the kids really like it. Hopefully some of the little kids won't be thrown off by the transformation. This transformation is difficult, I'm not going to lie. But it's also satisfying once you finally get it. It's nowhere, it's not RID? No, not RID. What was the second movie? Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Prime Hard, but it's pretty challenging. But the figure you end up with in robot mode is solid, and the toy as a whole, is really actually quite nice. Yes, it is missing some paint apps, but this is America. American Transformers fans always lose out on the paint apps. So it's a solid figure. I recommend picking it up. Just be wary. The transformation ain't easy. But we've got two solid figures here. Both Prime and Grimlock are definitely worth having in your movie collection. Guys, as always, I'm Bolt Matrix, and I'll catch you next time.